Hey everyone, my name is Kasperanza, and I just wanted to make a quick video about Maduro, the ex-president of Venezuela, and him being taken into custody by the United States and how the astrology fits with this. A couple days ago, I did make a prediction that the astrology of January 2026 was going to be way too dangerous. And the reason why I say this is because, and I don't think I made it very clear, but the energy is kind of similar to the astrological energy of Charlie Kirk. Um, and even Donald Trump's first attempted, the first attempted assassination on Donald Trump. And it's because for January 2026, there's this crazy fixed or not, well, yeah, it's fixed, but there's this crazy grand square that's taking place right now. Mars, the Sun, and Venus are all making a conjunction at 20 degrees of Capricorn, squared by Chiron and Aries, opposite Jupiter and Cancer, square Moon in Libra on January 10th. And when Donald Trump made the attack and seized the Venezuelan president, it happened during the full moon. Um, when the moon was making a conjunction with Jupiter and making a square to Chiron. And it's funny because I talked about this energy on January 2nd. And then the very next day, Donald Trump launched that attack. So I feel like I've already predicted half of it. The thing that I was really struggling with was like, who's going to be impacted by this energy the most? Obviously, everyone is impacted because you can see the escalation of violence, especially in Venezuela. It's getting really violent there. Again, because this grand square, it's all in cardinal signs. They're all moving towards 22 degrees, which is the degree of kill or be killed. So it's a very dangerous time. And cardinal signs, they start things, they initiate things. They start to put things into action. They start to move things in a direction. So this is why the beginning of this year feels so powerful and such a rocket launch. If you just have your own goals and you're living your own life, this energy is going to feel very intense, and you're going to feel like this need to kind of want to start all of these different things. Kind of how similar with the politics is, with everyone kind of going into their groups, and we're starting to see demonstrators and protesters. Because with grand squares, there's not a good flow of energy. And it's really difficult with cardinal signs because cardinal signs, they all want to act in a different direction, right? The Libra, the cardinal sign of Libra wants to create diplomacy. Capricorn wants to climb, it's ambitious. Aries wants to just charge forward because it's angry and violent. And Cancer and Jupiter is about compassion and wanting and our emotions kind of running wild. Almost, I mean, not running super wild, but kind of similar to Aries. So all of these signs are kind of like, they all want to go in these different directions. And so anyway, I was trying to think like who's going to be impacted by this the most. And I thought it was going to be Jordan Peterson. If you look at Jordan Peterson's chart, Jordan Peterson has his midheaven at 22 degrees. Jordan Peterson also has health issues. So I thought that this energy, when it reaches its pinnacle on January 12th and January 13th, like January 10th to January 13th, I think this energy will reach its maximum. And I think it's going to hurt Jordan Peterson in some way, or Jordan Peterson might suddenly pop out and talk about what's happening, despite the fact that he has health issues and he's trying to recover. But what's really fascinating, right? And it took me 5 minutes to get to this point, but if you look at the president of Venezuela, Nicolas Maduro's chart, if you look at his chart is like perfectly highlighted by this energy that I'm talking about. Like he is at the center of this conflict, and it makes so much sense. And it also proves the fact that if I did know who Nicolas Maduro was, like if I did know the Venezuelan president, if I did know, because I didn't know who he was. Again, when I was trying to find who was going to be impacted by this grand square the most, I thought of Jordan Peterson because he's the only person that I knew who had his midheaven at 22 degrees of Capricorn. But if I knew who Maduro was, I would have predicted that, yeah, I think Maduro is probably going to get killed. Maduro, I wouldn't expect him to get captured, but I wouldn't be surprised if does something bad does happen to him in the next coming days. I mean, something bad truly could happen to him, but also the bad thing already did happen to him. And it's very clear that he's the center of this grand square conflict, this with all of these cardinal signs. Because look at his chart. As I've said before in my past videos, if your moon, midheaven, or ascendant or sun makes an aspect to planets at 22 degrees, you should watch out. Or somewhere close to 22 degrees, because it's the kill or be killed degree. It's a very intense degree, especially when all of these planets are almost at 22 degrees. And it's just, look at January 10th, when all of these planets align, when all of them reach 20 degrees. I mean, they all reach 20 degrees at the same time in their respective signs. And that just highlights Maduro's midheaven at 20 degrees of Aries, his IC at 20 degrees of Libra, and then his moon is at 25 degrees of Libra, which makes it even more intense. And his ascendant at 21 degrees of Cancer conjuncts Jupiter at 20 degrees of Cancer. And his descendant at 20 degrees of Capricorn makes a conjunction with all of these planets at 20 degrees of Capricorn. And it's just really interesting how he was captured or taken. Like, he wasn't killed, because I was thinking, like, the person who's going to get impacted by this, they're going to get killed. They're going to suddenly die, because that's originally what I predicted in my video, right? Too dangerous. And then the thumbnail of my video was like, another sudden death. So, but what's really interesting is that if you look at Maduro's chart, right, all of his angles are activated. His ascendant, his midheaven, his IC, his descendant. And those represent like your physical body. They represent your reputation. They represent your home. They represent other people. So it makes a lot of sense that not that he was that he was attacked or murdered, but the fact that he was literally taken out of his country. He was uprooted from his IC, his home. His body was moved to a totally different location. His descendant, the people around him, have a lot of impact on his life, like Donald Trump, right? There's a lot of power-hungry, ambitious people who are motivated right now, because that's what Capricorn tends to represent. It represents duty on the one hand and structure, but it also represents power and ambition. And this kind of capitalist productivity in a lot of ways. And the Maduro just represents, like, you know, with his midheaven in Aries, it could just represent like anger. People are angry. The fact, because the Aries is just this kind of angry sign. People are just angry that he was taken from Venezuela. So, and his midheaven is there, and Chiron is there. It's at 22 degrees of Aries. So I think I basically said, I just wanted to make that quick update. It's incredibly fascinating. The violence is escalating. It's very similar to the energy of Charlie Kirk, because again, if you go to Charlie Kirk, Mars was at 22 degrees of Libra. Jupiter was very close to 20 degrees of Cancer. Chiron was at 26 degrees of Aries. And then the moon was at around 22 degrees of Aries, which is very similar to the moon being at 22 degrees of Libra or at 22 degrees of Cancer, as it was for Maduro. And then even with Donald Trump's attempted assassination on him, right, when Donald Trump was shot at, the moon was at 22 degrees of Libra. The sun was at 21 degrees of Cancer. Chiron was at 23 degrees of Aries. And Mars, it wasn't at 22 degrees of Libra, but it was on Donald Trump's midheaven. So this is very, very similar energy. And again, Mars was at 22 degrees of Libra for Charlie Kirk, and Charlie Kirk's sun was at 21 degrees of Libra. So this energy is very similar. This is why it was so predictable. I would have predicted what would have happened to Maduro if I knew who Maduro was. I just didn't know who he was. Um, so anyway, I just I think that's proof that astrology keeps working. Astrology keeps proving me right. I keep proving things with astrology. Astrology is real. Astrology is good. Astrology is amazing. And it puts this into perspective. Like, who would have thought that Donald Trump would wake up one day and sees the president of Venezuela, and how weird it is, and why the president of Venezuela? Why him? And in my opinion, the astrology explains. It's because the president of Venezuela has this crazy all of these angles at 20 degrees of cardinal signs, and the energy right now is all lining up at 20 degrees of cardinal signs. He's the perfect candidate for this energy right now. That's why he was seized as president. It wasn't because, it's like, why would Donald Trump do this? I think Donald Trump is just acting out the energies of the sky. If I have this weird theory that the more powerful someone becomes, the more political things get, the more collective things become, the more the astrology starts to take over. The more the energies of the sky start to tell you what's really happening. Because I think it's beyond Donald Trump. I think it's beyond all of us. I just think politics and the world at large is being controlled by the planets in some way. And certain individuals who are in powerful positions are going to be activated and moved, literally moved, and manipulated by how the sky is working. So anyway, that's it for this video. Thank you for watching.